My register number is URK17CS174, and this is the fifth experiment in the Android application development lab. So today we have an experiment based on shared preferences, and we'll be demonstrating how shared preferences work. So first let's look at the design of our main activity. So this will be our main activity wherein we want a user to log in, and if the user checks this checkbox, we want to remember them and directly log in when they come back for the second time. So here for the design, all we have here is a text view to highlight the login, and then we have edit text. Now we wrap this edit text in material design elements. Now this is wrapped with a text input layout. So this gives an additional property to the edit text that we will be seeing in the demo, and the second edit text is also wrapped in the same thing, that is text input layout. And then I have a checkbox to check if they want me to remember the credential, and finally there's a button here that will prompt us to go to the next screen. Now this will be the design of the next screen, wherein we will display the username here, whoever is logged in, and there's a small text view here to show to just title this spinner that we have here. And this spinner has four colors in it, which will be uh, used to change the background color of the display. And once this button is clicked, it will change to whatever is being selected by this spinner, and there's the logout button. So now let's look at the actual functionality of the main activity. So we basically find all the elements that we have discovered here, sorry, that we have declared. So basically user password, the submit button, and the checkbox. And then here is where we start our get preferences. So we get shared preferences, we name the file. So my SPF is the name of the file. If you see here, this will be empty at the starting of the app. And then we've set this to mode private so that no other app can access the shared preferences. And then we use the editor object here to actually edit and interact with the shared preferences object here. So we're just checking if this SPF contains a username. So, and we are setting that to this boolean variable status. So if that status is true, it just shows that you're already logged in, and it moves on to the dashboard class. Now this is what we want to achieve, because if the user comes back, we want them to auto login. Otherwise, if there is no username in the shared preferences, we show the login screen, we get the two data that we want, and we compare it to a credential pair that we have, and we see that it is checked. And only if it's checked, we add it to the shared preferences. Now here, using the editor object, we see editor.put string, and we also put the bg color over here, just as a starting move, so then the next screen we can modify this again. And we use editor.apply, which is an asynchronous method that will put all these data into the shared preferences. And we start a new intent and move on to the dashboard class, which just show a small toast message to show that the user is logged in. And in here is the dashboard. So we find all the elements that we have declared, and we get the shared preferences again. Now from this we get the strings. This time, last time we put the strings, and this time we get the strings. Now the S is obviously the key name. The S1 is actually a default value that we give. If this key does not exist, this value will be taken here. And finally, we set text the username at the top right, and then what we see is from the spinner we take what is selected, and we compare it with the colors over here. And using the editor object for the SPF, we put that string into the shared preferences file that we have. Finally, we have editor.apply to commit the changes and change color. Now this is actually the method used to change the color of the background. I'll explain that over here. Finally, we add an on-click listener to the logout pattern, which is just going to clear the SPF, and it's going to come out. and this is a change color method. So this method is responsible to read the SPF file and then apply the color change that is needed. So we start the SPF, we get the string, and this was just a for debugging. And using the linear layout, we find the linear layout and we see which one of the strings this CLR is equal to, and based on that we set the background color, and we're using hollow red, green background, and bright. So this is a basic method that is basically the linear layout dot sort set background color. Then we get resources, and then we get the color, and we can mention the color also. So now let's just run the application is running here. As you can see, this is actually a property of the material design. So once the edit text is highlighted, the hint actually floats up. As you can see here, the password actually starts floating up, the username starts floating up. So let's just log in here, and let's log in. As we log in here, we can see that our username is displayed here, and this is the spinner. So if we just set green, change color, and if we just restart the app to show you the auto login, now the file exists, so it directly comes to the next screen. So and then we can log out, and when we log out, the SPF is cleared. So if you see here, the SPF is cleared completely, and everything is working as intended. So that is the end of the fifth experiment in the Android development lab. Thank you.